It's good when teams like Liverpool, specifically Liverpool, get beat down, that we break that down and we figure out why they lost the way that they lost and how Pep Guardiola ultimately outclassed Slot in this game. 3-0 is a smacking.
Yeah, but what did we talk about in the preview? I told you guys that we were gonna outdog them in the midfield.
You did.
That's exactly
What
what we
was
did.
the stat you sent us about the running? Was it 5
Oh, the
miles?
running. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's 8 kilometers, a little over 8 kilometers, which is equals a little over 5 miles. That is the distance that City outran Liverpool, and it's the second highest in the league this season. The only higher outrunning was City against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Um, in my opinion, just as an overall look at it, they played like the last team in the league yesterday. They did not want it, which says a lot about their commitment to the coach, I think. Um, yeah, outside of getting played out the park, they had more possession. That's because we wanted them to have more possession. Um, where do we want to start on this though? Before I go off on a tangent.
You know what? I kind of like that starting point of letting them have possession because City has now done that in 3 separate games. They
Mm-hmm.
did that against Arsenal, they did that against Liverpool, and they did that against United to start. I'm pretty sure where they said, "Here, you take the ball. We're gonna sit off and be transitional." And I think that ultimately played into exactly how the game went. It was Doku 101 against Bradley. I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe
I
that.
think
Yeah, go ahead.
I think just in the past couple games, um, we have had better scouting almost, or maybe just a better execution of what the scouts are bringing to the table. We knew who to press, not just to press, but who to press. Konate, I sent you guys that stat, had more touches than any player on the pitch
Yeah.
in the first 30 minutes of the match, and that's on purpose. Watching the Nobbins clip, there was he showed a freeze frame, 2 freeze frames, 14 seconds apart. He's on the ball for all 14 of those seconds.
You let him have the ball.
They let him have the ball. They have no confidence in his ability to play out the back, and he just boots it up. And we definitely had that fight in us. We're gonna win the first ball. We're gonna win the second ball, and then the tight possession play in the middle of the pitch, I think, is where we killed them. That midfield battle, I think, was the biggest point out of all of this. And Pep playing like a 4-1-2-1-2 almost out of possession, and then going into that to allow just a plethora of players in that midfield. We just outworked them and outran them.
I think
Yeah.
what's important, and I'll just give you credit for it, Mila. I think when you first said Nico G and then put him in the same sentence as Rodri and Caicedo, I definitely reacted. I was like, "Well, that's seems pretty quick." Sometimes you're not wrong. You're just early because I'm starting to hear a lot of things that you were saying a month ago from a lot of people now when they're talking about it. And I think we talked about it a lot last year where, oh, well, Rodri's gone. There's a Rodri sized hole in their midfield. If they have Rodri, it's a different story. They haven't had Rodri. And again, Nico G is not going to be on the Ballon d'Or podium, let alone win it. But I mean, to your point, Mila, that was the difference in the game. You guys being able to keep the ball in the middle, being able to win duels. And the 6 is a huge part of that in the Pep system. So, I mean, I think a lot of credit goes to him. A lot of credit has to go to Pep too, because again, from the time he came in till the start of this season, it's been very speculative with him where it's good performance here and there, but he's not playing. What's going on? There's so many questions. But again, a coach knows more than we do, right? He sees the work that gets put in every day. He knows what he has at his disposal. And another point Mila's harped on, he's not even a 6. Like, that's not what he wants to do. Like, he wants to be an 8, but he's doing this 6 role, deputizing for Rodri. So I think that combination takes a lot off Rodri too, to rush to be back. He can come back when he's back to his best or close to it. I think it's a good dynamic and important to look at in terms of building on this consistency because I mean he's been fantastic.
Yeah. Facundo, I want to shift this conversation to Liverpool a little bit. Obviously, you were probably aiming for a draw in this one. That would
Yeah.
have been the most beneficial thing to you. So, in your eyes, looking at Liverpool, and you haven't gotten to talk about them being crap since the last time you were on the pod. So, tactically, what did you see from Slot that didn't work in this one? And do you think that this is the end for them already?
I don't think it looks good for them in terms of hoping they can win the league. I texted this in a group chat with like Grant and one of our buddies who's a Liverpool fan, and I just said like you're structured defensively and your inability to press are like killing you. Because City, like Mila was saying, moved the ball really quickly through quite literally the center of the pitch. And I just like defensively, you can't allow that. Like you cannot get played through the middle. That's why everybody forces everybody wide. So I thought that particularly hurt him in the match. And then I don't really think Wirtz, whatever, was that great. Like just physically not at the level of the Prem. He kind of moves a little bit too much for my liking to where it's kind of just like at some point you need somebody standing somewhere just to create the space for other people. And then you're just moving around too much to the point where like you're running all the way back playing the false nine and then you get a turnover and you should be further up the pitch and you're not because you're trying to do too much. They just haven't figured it out. Konate with another like horrendous game. And yeah, I thought City looked really good. I just don't think Liverpool played that well. The only thing I would say is that if that goal is properly allowed, then 1-1, you're kind of looking at a different match. What was it, 35 minutes in?
Yeah, I think they were still bad minutes 1 through 90, but to your point, it doesn't matter.
Before that,
tied towards the end of the first half.
They responded well to going down a goal, I thought. And then they scored the equalizer, and then kind of after that was disallowed. It was an edgy game, kind of back and forth. City started to play particularly well, then ended up getting the second. By the time you go 2-0 up, that game's pretty much over because the second goal came before halftime, right? I'm not like imagining that.
Yeah, right before
I think it's
half
all
injury
buts
time.
and ifs,
So,
though.
Like, sure.
That
At the end
was
of the
for me
day,
the
like
end of the game.
but they did press the entire game, and that Nico G goal came from their lack of press in that situation. Just because that didn't like, let's say that didn't happen, I'm sure there would have been another chance in the game for that to happen. I think they were just poor on the day. And that
I agree.
I don't know. That distance stat is just appalling to me. I think that says a lot when this is supposed to be one of the most watched matches in football. You have an expectation to perform. You are the league leaders, or not league leaders, league champions. And you don't do anything to defend that. And I don't know. They had nothing.
5 losses at this stage of the season, I think, is damning, especially when they won 5 to start the season.
Yeah.
To me, to be 1 win and 5 losses in their last 6 this early in the season, yeah. I mean, you're only 8 points off it if you look at it, but I mean, to me, it's just the losses. It's so damning. And regarding the disallowed goal, it's the same thing for me every time. We have no precedent because to me, he did not affect Donnarumma's vision at all, but he is in an offside position. Something similar that I can think of is when Brentford scored a last-minute equalizer on the long throw. They win on the header, and when the header's flicked on, there's a Brentford player in an offside position. They didn't call that one, so I just do not know what the precedent is. That's my whole problem. I have no idea what the rules even are because they're enforced differently every week. It's the same thing every time.
There was a second angle where Andy Robinson makes contact with Donnarumma. So he did affect the play. He makes contact with the goalie. I don't care if the angle didn't show us that, but there was a sideline view where he makes contact with Donnarumma from an offside position, and then he comes out of the position.
I didn't think he had any impact.
He touches Donnarumma. There's literally a touching of Donnarumma. It's
I just don't know the rules.
It's up to interpretation at the end of the day.
Yes, and I don't know what they're. But it's just inconsistent.
Okay, if you go back and watch it though, you watch Robertson's face the second the ball goes in. Everyone else is celebrating.
Because he knows he's in an offside position.
He knows he's offside. Exactly though. Like that, I think that says enough. He knows
how the game goes. I think most of us do not know.
It's telling.
So you just assume guilt. That's how I am with all of our goals. I barely celebrate our goals. I think they're all offside.
Things don't go your way, and then blame PGMOL is like,
I agree. It's not an excuse.
It does look more.
Refs are inconsistent still.
Never harp on the refs. So I just don't fucking like talking about it because clearly they fucking suck.
I thought it was a goal,
Um,
and I think they got stomped in that game anyways. Like, I think both can be true, and it's irrelevant. To your point, Mila, people look at it as if, oh, well, they score one here, so are they just going to run on and just magically win the game? Like, I think City had too much for them on the day. That was my opinion. But again, we're talking in imaginary land now. We're talking make-believe, so who really knows? We need consistency from the refs. We'll never get them, so yeah, it's tough to talk about.